Gang, what's happening? What's going down? What's going on? It's your boy back again with another podcast, with another episode, with another video for you guys. And as always, we're going to discuss the latest news in terms of injury news, football news, transfer news, and my talking points and my opinions and my views. And of course, I'm going to ask you guys to share yours as well in the comments. Please drop a like on the video. Please give me some feedback as well, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So first and foremost, let me chat about yesterday's games because I didn't even do a video. Unfortunately, I was out, so I couldn't really upload after the Champions League games. But listen, Bayern Munich, very disappointed. I think they played well up to the second goal, but Manchester City, Erling Haaland and Cole, they're really starting to annoy me. They're really starting to not scare me, not frighten me, but yeah, and I approach with caution. You know. This Etihad game in the league that we have is probably Arsenal's biggest game in the last 15 years. I'll be real. Because the way City are playing right now, the way they are informed, the way Haaland is scoring, breaking records on records, the way everything, like just the way how it's all happening, I'm telling you that right now, and you know, he could end up being the difference. He could end up being the person that essentially is just gonna tip them when they're playing badly in a game or something like that to both of these trophies. You know, the Premier League and the Champions League. Man, I have to be careful because Haaland is doing things that are not normal. The guy himself isn't normal. But anyways, City. Big up, big win. They're firing on all cylinders, man. But listen, this is what we wanted. We wanted the result that would keep them in the Champions League. We wanted the result that would just... We want them to stay up to the final. If anything, we want them to win it. You know, I'm disappointed in my team. I want my team, Benfica, to win the whole thing. I want them to beat City in the final. But that was never going to happen. It's not going to happen. They lost yesterday at home. Very disappointing win at home at the Stadium of Light against Inter Milan. Inter Milan letting man like Lukaku score penalties and all of these things, and that was mad. We can still turn it around, but I don't think it will happen. It's going to be very difficult to do so at the San Siro. Disappointing, very disappointing Benfica. I'll be real, I'll be honest. I think we played to the occasion more than anything else, and that kind of, it just kind of left us. It just didn't look like the players had the confidence that I've seen them have this season, those Benfica players. But yeah, so that was yesterday. Today, another big Champions League night. We have, of course, the big dogs, the mentality monsters, the trendsetters, the go-getters, the class that is Real Madrid v Chelsea. Lampard's Chelsea. Again, I can't believe I'm saying it, but it is Lampard's Chelsea. Listen, I can't see anything but a hammering. I'll be real. I'll be honest. The way Liverpool got hammered by Real Madrid, I just can't see it. I honestly can't see it. Chelsea's playing away. It is what it is, man. It's Real Madrid. The Chelsea players have been saying all of the right things. Lampard, you know, he's come and spoken to us, dressing room vibes, and he's given us the inspiration. You know, look at me in 2012. Look what happened. I was at my lowest, but we ended up winning. If we approach it as a team and if we do the dark arts properly. But against Real Madrid, you can't do dark arts. They're just going to play football and they just know how to manage the game and know how to... Do you understand? Like, yes, I know they've been poor in the league this season. And look at Real Madrid's standards, man. They win. They notoriously keep the standards even when they're winning. If a manager does not achieve the league or the Champions League, he's out. If you achieve one, you're out. You need to be both, and you need to be more or less always at the tip top. Like, that's the standards I want Arsenal to have. I know that those things, you know, it's easier said than done. Clubs are in different positions, in different circumstances. I get that. I'm not going to be a fan that is, you know, completely oblivious to that and you know, arrogant and ignorant to that aspect. You know, you have to take things into context, but I want us to slowly build to a position and slowly build back to a point where we have that level of, you know, that level of expectation, that level of class about us as a fan base, as fans, individually, collective, as a club, as players, management, all the way to the top, man. Like, not allowing standards to be dropped and understanding that we are in the sport to win, and winning is the only thing that's acceptable. Yes, at times you can come second and you can be the runner-up. That's okay, but whenever there's some sort of level of decline in that sense, then you got to analyze properly, see what's happened, see what's going on, and make sure you get back to winning. We're getting there. We're getting there with Arteta, and I've heard a lot of people debating online whether they will, they would, for example, get rid of Arteta for someone like Carlo Ancelotti, to not see the rookie mistakes that you see Arteta making. I wouldn't, because I understand that it's not just about bringing someone like Ancelotti into that dressing room and playing each player in their position and letting them play how they want to play. Like Ancelotti normally says, he that's the only thing that he does. It's different. These players are building with Mikel. These players are young players who understand a young manager's mindset and a young manager's ideas, how he's able to transmit the ideas to those players. Clearly, you can see that coaching-wise, he's there, he's on the ground, he's ground level, and he's working with them on the pitch in terms of improving them to be actual better technical players and so forth. So I'll keep Arteta. I wouldn't change Arteta for Carlo Ancelotti. That's just my side of it, and not because of levels of standards or anything like that. I understand he's a winner, but Ancelotti's kind of a manager like a bit like Conte, and that he's a manager that's gonna want to come in and win. He's not gonna want to come in and build. Yes, he's good with young players. Yes, he knows how to play young players and bring through young players. And I'm not saying otherwise. And he is 1,000,000% in my estimation top 5 coaches and managers of all time, being still a record holder for a number of Champions League wins as a player, Champions League wins as a manager. Like Ancelotti is Don Carlo in it. However, I wouldn't change Arteta for him. So that's that. But yeah, guys, let's get into some of the other important news that I've come across today as well. There was a big story, and I think you can potentially guess what that story is, and that story is none other than your boy Bellingham, Jude Bellingham. Now, Jude Bellingham is trending all over the Twitter sphere, all over the internet basically, and that is due to the fact that Jude Bellingham is looking extremely unlikely for that Liverpool move that the world and the media more or less, and Liverpool fans said they were going to happen, said it was nailed down. Long story short, the man is just too expensive for Liverpool. Long story short, his value is roughly around 100 to 110 million, and Fenway Sports Group can't afford him. They've had to kind of say all sorts of nonsense, like we put a bid when the window's closed, but the bid was rejected, and all of that jazz. It's not going to happen. After taking a quadruple fight right to the bitter end of last season, the lackluster campaign for Jurgen Klopp's side this time has highlighted the frailty on an aging squad and a failure to recruit properly. And that's another thing as well. So they can't afford him, and now he's actually looking at it and going, look, you've got no Champions League. You've got aging players who really need to go, example Milner. You've got young players who are neither here nor there, Curtis Jones. And then you got other players who they're kind of like in this limbo of, whether they want to stay or go, Salah and, so forth. So why am I going to go into that? Like, Liverpool is done. You're not going to get the Jude Bellingham. Like, it's not going to happen. Just accept it. And I'm not saying Arsenal are going to get him. I'm an Arsenal fan. But I would love to get Jude Bellingham. If Jude Bellingham was to come to Arsenal, we'll be challenging for titles for the next 10 years, because it would effectively mean that in every position, attack, midfield and defence, within our Arsenal squad, we will have a player that can continuously stay there for 10 years plus building. Do you know what I mean? Building with his teammates and different. Like, it will be a madness, bro. But I think it's too expensive for us as well, unless the Cronkies do a madness, unless the boy Josh Kroenke says, look, Dad, this is a generational talent. We're going to find a nice little package that we can put together. We'll throw in Elneny. We'll throw in Takahiro Tomiyasu. We'll throw in Reece Nelson. We'll give Dortmund all of these men here. We'll give him Balogun, yeah? And we throw a nice little £60, 60 M's, whatever it takes, yeah? As long as we don't have to give the full 110, but then again, you lot know what Dortmund's on. So I'm trying to say, Dortmund's on gang business. They don't play games, bro. Sancho, Aubameyang, like, they don't play games. Whoever they are selling, they're selling for the money. They want the money up front, or at least a good half of it, or 2/3, whatever. And they want to then make sure that the player, like, it's mad, negotiating with these European sides is difficult, but he's definitely not going to go Liverpool. I just don't see it happen. I can't see it happen. I think his heart was kind of on Liverpool, and that's why Liverpool fans, they kind of clung on and they hung on to that whole Bellingham's coming here, it's nailed on, and the club is moving proactive to get him and so forth. That's all cap. To be honest with you, I'll be real. I think Bellingham's probably going to end up in Real Madrid. He's probably going to end up at Real Madrid, or he's going to end up in some, I don't know, in some, Bayern Munich might come in for him. I mean, Bayern Munich, they see him season in, season out, and they know what kind of a talent he is. Do you know what I mean? They might just say, do you know what? Listen, we get first dibs on him. If we are able to create a package that he accepts, because we know you're accepting, because you always accept our bids, Dortmund. Dortmund is Bayern Munich's little trading home, like little move on home. Like, do you know what I mean? So they could potentially come in for him. You just never know. Like, I don't understand why it's taken Liverpool up to this summer coming to secure someone like him when they've been looking at him for the last however amount of years. They've been looking at Jude Bellingham, but he's gone now. Jude Bellingham's gone. Jude Bellingham is probably going to be the most expensive summer signing this summer. And he's not gonna be accepting no Champions League football. Chelsea, unfortunately, Liverpool, unfortunately, are not even going to be in the Champions League. It doesn't look like they're going to be in the Champions League. So, what kind of do you know what I mean? What kind of setup, or what kind of package, what kind of pulling power does Liverpool actually have when it comes to Jude Bellingham? It's gone. There's no actual power. Just have a look at what else we've got here for news, and there's some bits and bobs as well in regards to Bellingham. Again, I think there's increasingly more European clubs looking at acquiring Flo Bellingham, and I'll be real, I'll be honest. As I said previously, as long as we sell him for the right price, then I don't mind. And that right price, I'm talking 60 M's. I'm literally talking 60 M's, because I think if we check it and if we deep it, we sold it Wellby for 40 M's. We bought, do you know what I mean? This is one of the things I want to see the club really improving in and really moving forward in. Liverpool know how to do it perfectly. They sell their players for young players. Like Iban, all of them, man, they went for mad peas. And these men were nowhere near. Do you know what I mean? He's rising his stock, scoring goals after goals. He is a fantastic baller. You can see it. He's going to be a future striker that is going to be wanted, and it's going to be, probably up there amongst the best in Europe. So we're selling him for 60 million, no more than that, no less than that. I'm telling you, man. I think there was let's have a look who actually came in for him. Was it RB Leipzig? Yeah, it is RB Leipzig. They're super interested in Bellingham as well. And I'll be honest with you, if Bellingham chooses to leave Arsenal, it will be a huge disappointment. I'll be gutted, because I think he is going to be as I said, top 5, top 10 European striker in the next 3-4 years, maybe 5 years time. He's working his trade. He just needed. I feel like he's a young player that doesn't have. He's a young man that doesn't have patience. Just needs to have more patience. Understand that Arsenal is really a club that you can really push through and pull through. You just need to look at people that have come before you, the likes of Wilshere's and whatnots, and then look at Reece Nelson. Like, Reece Nelson's not a star boy world hitter. I love Reece Nelson. He's a good young player, but he's made it through, and you need to believe that you are essentially better than Reece Nelson. Do you know what I mean? You might, not be in the same conversation, nowhere near, the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe or Bukayo Saka or Martinelli, but you should really kind of, say to yourself, look, if Reece can be in and amongst the squad, we must, we have to, I have to analyse what I'm doing that can at least, get me into that position as well. What I'm not doing that can allow me to get to this position, at least to where Reece Nelson is, because I'm telling you, man, I think he's a better player than Reece Nelson already. A lot of people might disagree, but I think he is. Let me quickly bring you some other news as well. Little rumours, transfer news. Barcelona have met with agent and father of Lionel Messi as they hope to tempt to getting back to the new camp. No transfer proposal was put forward. So again, it's just talking stages at the moment. But again, guys, I said yesterday, I think this is going to happen. It's only a matter of time. It's only a case of, getting the conversations going and again and again and again. And after about 15 to 25 to 30 meetings, they're going to agree on numbers, and that's it. Barcelona are looking to facilitate a way to bring Lionel Messi back. They are on the rise. They are literally about to win the title. La Liga is going to be an unprecedented success with Xavi, who is, we know that's Lionel Messi's boy. Like, that's his guy. You get me? That's one of his doogies from the glory days, from the glory years. Like, he just wants one more Champions League, one more La Liga with Barcelona, and that would, and he gets the final game of his of life, the celebration of life. Like, I would literally go to Barcelona on that weekend or wherever, if that was to happen. I would literally, because you can imagine it would be a hell of a party. Like, it would be incredible. Manchester United and Tottenham are showing interest in the Republic of Ireland teenager Evan Ferguson, but Brighton want to agree a new contract. I'm not too sure. And Manchester United summer clear out could see as many as 13 players to leave. Manchester United fans, if there are any here on the chat, let me know who you want to, any here in the comments, sorry, let me know who you want to have leave this summer. It looks like there's going to be a clear out. I think United needs a clear out. Arsenal have started a clear out in the last two windows. I think United's more or less going to apply that same method of application as well, Arsenal monitoring Bayern Munich midfielder Ryan Gravenberch, who has struggled to establish himself since moving to the Allianz Arena. Manchester United has also been linked. Again, being heavily linked. Every time I go online, that's the first name I see, Ryan Gravenberch. Don't know too much about him. It looks like he's more or less kind of like a B-Tech Bellingham, who happens to play for Bayern Munich. And I don't think he starts for Bayern Munich. He doesn't start for Bayern Munich. He doesn't. And we're being heavily linked to him. I don't know why we're being heavily linked to him, but let's see how the story develops. So Real Madrid remain very happy with their agreed deal to sign 16-year-old Endrick, which will see him move to Spain when he turns 18 despite a recent drop in form. Again, this is something obviously they sealed already. They signed him for 60 M's. That's incredible. That's about 50-something million pounds. 16-year-old boy Endrick. Obviously, it states here that he's lost his form, but apparently he's like the next big Ronaldo, original Ronaldo, in Brazil, and we're gonna be seeing more of him in Europe next season. Real Madrid have also been linked with a 50 million swoop for Villarreal winger Samuel Chukwueze. I rate Chukwueze. I think Chukwueze is alright. Villarreal, he plays really well for Villarreal. We saw what he did against us when Emery was there. We saw what he's done in the European stage, to be honest with you, for Villarreal. He's good. He's pacey. He's got good, Real Madrid. I could see why they all want to go for someone like Chukwueze. I'll be real. Wolves are working on a new contract for midfielder Ruben Neves, who has been linked with Arsenal, Man United, Barcelona in the past. This guy gets linked to Arsenal every single year. I don't want him anymore. Ruben Neves, I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's great. I think he's a combative type of player. I think he's good technical skills as well. He's a leader on the pitch, but nah, not for me. I think Manchester United, if they want him, they can take him. He's just, we've missed that kind of. I want to see young players come in. I want to see, of course, experience. Most certainly, but experience where you've won things, not experience because you've played. You're 25 or you're 26 and you played 565 Premier League appearances or whatever. Like, I want experience because you've got to games that are crazy pressurized and crazy things on the line. That's the type of experience that I want. Chelsea remain hopeful of keeping João Felix. I mentioned this yesterday. They look like they want to keep him. João Felix has been good. I think he tries to do a bit too much at times on the ball. He just needs to kind of calm down, understand that this ain't La Liga, understand that this is the Premier League. You don't get too much time. You can't be zapping in and out of 3-4 players. And even if you do that, you're going to need the assistance of a teammate to kind of get the 1-2s going and find space and go on that way. But he's good. He's wicked. I wanted him at Arsenal. Obviously, we were priced out of that loan move, and it looks like he's wanted on a permanent basis. Fabrizio Romano goes on to say, João Felix, when asked about his return to Atletico Madrid, he says, I have a contract, he said, as a loan deal. Chelsea doesn't include any buyout option, but Chelsea hope to keep him. So it's almost like he's saying, look, I have a contract. If you out buy it, or if you buy me out, then fair play. But until then, what really can I say? I've got a contract. Do you know what I mean? He's not gonna want to annoy the the people that pay him his wages overall and on a permanent basis. And I'm sure he's pretty much doing what his agent is advising him to do. Say these words, do this, do that, and the rest leave it up to me. Jude Bellingham has been ruled out of joining Manchester City, PSG and Chelsea. The England midfielder wants to play for a prestigious club with values like passion, honour and reputation rather than money. Listen, I'll be honest, I'll be real. It's nuts. He could say all of these things, but ultimately money talks. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like he's still saying, okay, I'll still come to play for Liverpool, but on another hand, he's then saying, but I need to play Champions League. Bruv, is this guy starting to give us? He wants to come to Arsenal vibes because he sees the setup, he sees the angle, he sees young players, he's seen the boy Saka doing the madness. We're in London, we're in the Champions League, we've got passion, we've got honour, we've got reputation, we've even got money. Not so much, not like everyone else, but do you know what I mean? Like, people, please, write down in the comments. I want to know your thoughts and your feelings about this. Are we starting to see everything leading up to him basically moving to a club like Arsenal? Is he going to move to Newcastle? I think Newcastle are super in for him. And they like literally meetings and trying to link up with the agent. But again, is he going to want to go and play up north? If we come into the conversation, if Arsenal come into the conversation and say, look, we can't pay Borussia Dortmund 110 mil. Like, so you put the pressure on your end. We're going to try to, get a package together that essentially can reach up to the 110 mil, but just not all in one go. Because Arsenal can afford that 110 mil, but I just don't think Kroenke will sign off on it all in one go. Do you know what I mean? We need to control our finances and manage them. And, you come to us. I don't see what will make him say no to us. It all depends on Arsenal. It all depends on Arteta. If Arteta wants it, I'm sure Arteta will want it. Why wouldn't Arteta like someone like Jude Bellingham? Bro, listen, I'll be real with you, Hey, watch this space, people. Anyways, moving on. Mason Mount remains one of the main targets for Liverpool since February in case he's going to be available on the market. This is who they're now focusing on. This is who they are now starting to really ramp up the pressure on. Like, this is who we kind of want. He fits this system. And I'll be real. I can see them getting Mount way sooner than any of the other two, such as I can see them being able to seal the Mount move much quicker and much easier than being able to seal the Bellingham move, of course, and other moves that they want to go for. I think Mount is kind of like realised that his time at Chelsea is kind of coming into a kind of no man's land sort of period, time to move on, and I think he'll be happy with a move to Liverpool. I'll be real. Todd Bowley, I'm sure you guys have seen this as well. Todd Bowley looks like he's backing Chelsea to win today. He's backing them to win 3-0. I don't know where all of this confidence comes from. I don't know where all of this belief comes from. But hey, you never know. Let's see what they're able to do. Let's see what they're able to accomplish tonight. I think they're going to get slapped. I'll be real. I think they're going to get slapped 3-1. I think Real will concede. Probably a set piece. But yeah, I think they're going to get slapped. I don't think Chelsea will score an open play. Not how they've been playing in the league. I'm so sorry, bro. In a burnabout, under that cauldron, under that environment, that's crazy. If these men are struggling to score against these teams, Southampton, how are they gonna? Nah. But maybe this is obviously from open play, but maybe from set piece, a header, Koulibaly gets an end of a header or something like that. I don't know. Arsenal and Chelsea are both making progress to sign Victor Roque from Atletico Paranaense, while Barcelona discussions have stalled. The two London clubs know the opportunity to agree a transfer of 40 M's is too good to turn down. Not too sure how tangible this is. Don't really know about the player as well, I won't lie. Jude Bellingham has been ruled out of City, PSG and Chelsea. But the thing is, I'll be real, money talks, man. Money talks. At the end of the day, unfortunately, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, money speaks louder than anything else. Something that's buyable, money speaks loud. You know what I mean? Money can buy something that's buyable. You can buy a football player. You know, he can say as much as he wants, oh, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. The selling club, the club that he belongs to, will want the money, sign him off, and there you go. It will be like a Mudryk situation. And he doesn't want to do, you know, I think he should just be easy, because he doesn't want to end up in that kind of situation where he ends up in a club that he actually doesn't want to play for, but they've just kind of bought him outright. It was, you know, and Dortmund made a decision to sell, and it is what it is. The key man for Chelsea tonight, Enzo. Is he? I don't know. I rate him. Again, he's an ex-Benfica player, my guy. But is he the key man? I don't know. I just don't think he's got enough experience. And you see, the thing about me, like when I say experience, when I use the term experience with football players, I don't mean their tenure of, you know, or their appearances, you know, or the years that they've been playing. Of course, that builds experience because you've been playing for a longer period of time. But I mean experience in terms of what you've achieved. You know, they got rid of Jorginho, who had achieved something, and that gave him the experience to know what it's like to have to go through that situation, or to have the mentality to win a Champions League final, you know, and the Euros final. Like, that is experience. Someone like Trossard is experience, of course, because of the age that he is and he's been playing, but he hasn't won anything. Do you know what I mean? And this is why I was a bit upset when Gabriel, in the Arsenal v Liverpool v Arsenal game, I was upset that Gabriel Jesus came off, because I think that players that have the experience of actually winning trophies and being in a pressurized game moment need to be on that pitch at that moment in time. I guarantee you, lot, if it was, instead of Gabriel, that last chance at the final second that Gabriel fluffed the line, the pass to Saka, if that, instead of Gabriel, if that was Saka, if that was Gabriel Jesus, and Saka was Gabriel Martinelli, it would have been a goal. Because he just has that 4 Premier Leagues, he has that experience within a final moment, as opposed to someone like Martinelli, who hasn't got that experience, hasn't won a trophy of that importance yet, hasn't been through that pressurized moment, and fluffs his line. Do you know what I mean? But he will learn with that. And again, he will continue to play, so he will gain a level of experience. But for me, the best form of experience, or the best type of experience, is experience when you have players that have actually gone to the depths and won things, as opposed to players that have been playing for many amounts of years. They're still relatively young. They've got so many appearances under their belt, but they actually don't lift trophies, and you know, they don't understand what experience is needed from a mental standpoint. They probably have it from a physical standpoint, but from a mental standpoint, trust me, it's different. Moving forward, guys. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the game today, man. I'm looking forward. I'm really looking forward to this Chelsea game. I said it. I think they're gonna lose, but you never know. You really never know. And let's see what transpires in this game. You know, Vinicius is in red hot form. He's now kind of considered or lauded as one of the best young players, if not the best young player, potentially, maybe behind my man. What's his name? Erling Haaland. But yeah, he's really there. He's really where he needs to be, you know. Let's have a look here. What else we got? Leicester end interest in appointing Marsh. I think Leicester wanted to appoint Everton. Lonely Ali to return to the UK after Besiktas injury. Dele Alli, again in the papers for all of the wrong reasons. Messi increasingly likely to leave PSG. Return to Barcelona this summer. This is something already spoken about. So yeah, guys, I'm going to leave it there. We've been on for roughly around 30 minutes, give or take, on today. I think that's pretty much the main news, the main sort of news that's coming out today on the websites and online, and of course on the papers as well. And yeah, and the biggest one, of course, most certainly is the Jude Bellingham situation. You know, I think it's kind of an L for Liverpool. I think ultimately the time that they've had to kind of, you know, get this more or less solidified and get some sort of agreement and, you know, personal terms, and you hear all of these things, like, they've been on him for a very long time, and the fact that they now come out and said, look, we're not going to get him, and we're not even going to wait till the summer opens or summer window opens to actually tell you that we're not going to get him, you know, it speaks volumes. It really does speak volumes, you know. Let me have one quick look through Twitter. The old Twitter, see what's trending. Bellingham's trending, Trossard's trending, and Rice. Anthony Joshua and Joe Joyce's re-emerged sparring clip shows boxers could collide. I would like to see that. That would be probably the next fight I would want to see AJ in. Him and because why? Even when you think about it, like Joe Joyce, like these men are just here. Why hasn't it happened? Do you know what I mean? Why hasn't it happened already? That's something that it could already happen. And I think that this is the problem with boxing. This is where we find ourselves in boxing. And I'm starting to shift way more to UFC than boxing. To be honest with you, I don't really watch boxing like that anymore. I didn't even watch AJ's last fight live. I just saw highlights. Because it's just one of them ones, man. Boxing is too much politics. Like, they come out with all of these possibilities. Oh, if he could fight him and him, if he can go against him and he might go against him, and that one is trash talking, and this one is saying this one, that one's cussed his mum, and that one cussed it. Bro, get in the ring. That's why I like Dana White, because he just be like, yeah, alright, cool. You two want to fight? Let's get it on. Boom. Here's the date. Here's the location. There you go, bruv. Get it cracking. I'm going to pay you both what you need to be paid, and Bob's your uncle. And that's how it should be. Listen, we're going to keep it there. Ladies and gentlemen, please drop a like on the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This was another daily news from the Daily News Buggies podcast view, and I shall see you tomorrow. Peace.